Trevi from Rome, Italia. So yeah, we just landed I landed about 6 hours ago. You just got here.
I just got here.
And we're just meeting up, and now we're having our first dinner. It's past 9 p.m. And then tomorrow we're gonna have a day in town.
Yes.
Where are we going?
Some fountain and some bone church and some other things.
The Pantheon, the Fountain of Trevi.
Yeah, what he said.
The Spanish Steps, and yeah, that.
I'm not trying to be irreverent, I just don't know the names.
I've done the research. I'm an Italian. I better have the information.
He's in charge.
So, like that. So our first meal in Rome.
And you're gonna enjoy it. Here we go.
Full sea bass, delicious. So we went for dinner. We landed here yesterday. We went for a quick dinner. Now we woke up quite late.
Adjusting to the time zone, of course.
Jet lag. And so we are going to be just taking a meander through Rome today.
So excited.
The intention to go to the Pantheon, Spanish Steps, and Fountain of Trevi. And then we'll probably meet up with some tribe. Man, this used to be the capital of the world.
It was.
It's just wild, the history that the city holds.
You can feel it. It's pulsing.
I agree. I've been in Rome once before, and I didn't have that same connection to the land energetically, like the know-how, the subtle know-how. And this time when I was driving into, even with the taxi from the airport, I'm like, wow.
You definitely feel the ancient history of the church here.
Yeah, so usually the way it works in Italy, it's like there's all these like little coffee bars, and you come in and you order a coffee and they drink it on the bar and then you take off. It's not like the States where you sit down.
Oh, but I love to savor my coffee. They would get so annoyed with me. I'm just going to stand there for hours.
First coffee in Italy.
Pretty good.
Oh, that's good.
It's pretty good.
How I measure good coffee is you have to put sugar in it, it ain't perfect. That's perfect.
It's pretty good.
That's creepy. The Pantheon is. So the Pantheon was constructed in and around 126 AD.
We think.
Yeah, because there's no inscription of date.
And this is the dome, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So the most preserved, largest cement dome without infrastructure that's still standing today.
Yeah, it's now a Roman Catholic church, but it seems like it was started as a pagan temple.
Wow,
yeah,
seeing the pillars.
It started as a pagan temple to the gods, and yeah, that's changed. An obelisk, which is basically. The obelisk is always a representation of the phallus, male energy. And I'm guessing the dome is like the female energy. You'll always see these two symbols close together.
I definitely feel a very powerful light energy in this space. It's like, ooh. happen in here, but it's good stuff.
Well, I think that sometimes when there's these domes with these openings had a lot to do with astrology, recognition of astrology and the stars. Yeah, definitely much more pagan nature versus Christian
patriarchy.
Exactly.
Yeah. Portal or like meeting place or something.
Meeting of what? The angelic realms?
Yes.
And the church is currently called the Basilica of Santa Maria and the Martyrs. The Martyrs. The Martyrs is so age of Pisces and now in the age of Aquarius. That's really cool. Behind me is the tomb of the legendary painter Raphael. So isn't this interesting? I find it highly interesting. You know, I always say like in churches where they put barriers, it's usually the power spot. And here we have the opening of the dome. And then when we come down right underneath it, we have these barriers. Although it's a church now, it really doesn't feel like a church. I mean,
It's not a church other than the new paintings they put up.
exactly.
I mean, those are clearly gods.
Yeah, exactly.
Statues.
Yeah, every section is probably two different. I would have loved to see it with like different gods. Like every section being a different god. That would be pretty cool. And of course, in every good church, there's like sales of trinkets and souvenirs. You know, the church and money and capitalism, and they all go together. Dedicated to Venus, Mars, and the divine Julius. The name Pantheon was conceptually linked to the Hellenistic Pantheon, the sanctuaries devoted to the 12 gods and the reigning king. Traditionally, the present structure is attributed to radical reconstruction favored by the Emperor Hadrian, 118 to 125. Hypothesis substantiated by the recovery of various brick seals of Hadrian's age and by the consideration that it would be almost impossible in the age of Augustus to give shape to such extraordinary architectural event. Moreover, in the 1st century BC, this was a marshy area. The Pantheon, in fact, rose in one of the lower parts of Rome, a situation in which would make the creation of the foundations for such a gigantic construction very difficult. Even more so, the rising of a hemispheric dome of 43.30 meters of diameter on it, the biggest dome ever vaulted in brick. Not to mention the perfect proportion of the parts among them to be found in the Pantheon, in which scholars have read fascinating symbolic interpretations and esoteric choices. One of them, for example, seeing the monument as a complex image of Pythagorean universe, where the laws of geometry, physics, astronomy, and music combine together. It's a refined astronomical devices are to be identified in the masterpiece, such as, for example, the lighting during specific hours of the day, during solstices and equinoxes. It's an astrological device. Solstices, equinoxes, before Christ, pagan gods and kings. I love the Pantheon. It's probably one of my favorite places in Rome. So I've been in Rome about 20 years ago. Actually, maybe exactly 20 years ago. And this is the first time I'm back.
He's older than he looks.
That's all that needs to be said. Goodbye.